you're basically that uncle that shows up every time he needs money, right? Don't be that person, right. Like, and if you are gonna fake it, at least give yourself a week before the launch or something like
Yes.
your social media, your contact, however you communicate with people. If it's email marketing, if it's text marketing, I don't care. Like, make sure that the only time that your texts go out or your emails go out or the only time you're on social media isn't specifically when you're trying to launch a program. It's so blatantly obvious
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
all
Nope.
of it. This is the online trainer show, trainer show, trainer show. This is the online trainer show. We shouldn't have a podcast.
It's a hashtag
No,
that's trending on
it's
Twitter.
it's not trending. It's not trending anywhere. So since the podcast just started, we get this nifty countdown now, so I actually know when the podcast starts. We were talking about, as we're recording this podcast, it is April the 1st, known as April Fools, and also known as the month in which legends are born. I can speak to that, obviously. I mean, you've met me. But we're talking about Michael Strahan, the famous ex-NFL football star, played for the New York Giants, has gone on to television celebrity, hosts the NFL show on Fox on Sundays, and Good Morning America, I think, something else. And I swear he was on the Regis show. He was the first replacement for Regis, I thought. Michael and Kelly
No
Lee.
idea.
Wait a minute. It's been an illustrious broadcasting career
Just-
in the most unlikely of places.
Just an amazing person, amazing. Well, he's known
somewhat similar to our success with this podcast in Greece, by the way,
Oh,
which
right.
we are now trending in the country of Greece.
We're smashing Greece right now. It's like legit, like Zeus, Aphrodite, online trainer show. Like we're Greek god level in Greece right now.
We're up there.
We're up there. It's a big deal. We're major. Jonathan, stop distracting me. So Michael Strahan is known for the gap in between his two front teeth. This is sort of a trademark. Well, he released video on Instagram today of him lying in a hospital bed with not a hospital bed, but in a clinical facility. He's got the sort of, I don't know what they call the thing that the dentist puts around your neck, but that thing, that paper thing's around his neck, and he smiles and there's no gap in his teeth. So
Right.
we're wondering
With the hashtag close the teeth gap.
there's no such as
And human rights groups are up in arms. They are saying if a man decides to have a teeth gap, then that man should be able to have a teeth gap. And I don't know why Michael Strahan decided that it was okay for him to teeth gap shame all of us.
It's just the patriarchy, Jonathan.
Awful.
So none of the things that Jonathan said have happened, by the way.
Can we talk about my Facebook friend request?
No, we cannot yet, because we haven't finished the first damn story, Jonathan. Just wait a damn minute. Simmer down. Just simmer down. So
Inauspicious start to today's podcast, folks.
right, and the ending will match. So in any case, so he closed the gap, so to speak, and we're wondering if this is really something that happened or an elaborate April Fool's joke at the using current technology to
Okay.
deep fake. All right, John. Now talk about your
So
food
I
thing.
get a lot of Facebook friend requests. And,
lot of them.
A fair amount of them are serious, and the reason is in a few of my books it actually has like a call to action to send me a request on Facebook. So I get I'll get like dozens of Facebook friend requests every single day, and of course
some
I'm
of
at
your
my limit, but they're
11
fine.
books.
Yeah, some of the 11 books. And so
Okay.
I got one today, and normally I ignore them, unfortunately, because I can't accept anybody else. No big deal. But today I got a Facebook friend request, and everything in my being wants me to accept this friend request. And it is 9.9% spam.
Right.
But I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to tell you why. The name of the account is Poopies.
Just
So
So
What this
incoherent.
tells me is that the internet is starting to get to know me a little bit too well for my own liking.
Oh.
Poopies.
Everybody else, all these other guys get these pictures of
Models and
Yeah.
porn stars
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
models and whatever, trying to friend request them to spam them. I get a picture of a baby crying and the name Poopies, and I'm like, this is,
sounds legit.
they know me a little bit too well. This is something that I want to accept.
Right up your alley.
I want this in my life. Basically, I want this in my life.
You already have that in your life, but you want more.
The
of it.
algorithm is scary, is what I'm saying.
I think you need it, Jonathan. I think you need poopies in your life. Like
But
it,
only if you tag them in everything from
right.
now on.
Right. If you, as a matter of fact, if you can't accept any friend requests, I personally give you permission to unfriend me in favor of friending poopies. Like if I gotta go, I get it. Like I understand how epic that name is. Yeah.
Ren volunteers as tribute.
Well, yeah, just cut me loose, man. Save yourself.
And at this time, we want to thank all of you listeners for listening, and also thank our sponsor of the podcast today, a brand new sponsor. Very happy to have them, Poopies, diapers that don't work. For those of you who like skipping work because of a poop accident, Poopies, everybody, on Facebook. Make sure you add them. Poopies. Thank you for your sponsor. All right, back to today's show.
It sounds like a idiotic cereal commercial for a Saturday Night Live episode. Poopies.
It does. It absolutely does.
Exactly. I remember and I'm going to defer to Keto here because I always love to hear from Keto. She's always got such insight for us. But I remember them doing one of those parody commercials, and it was a parody at that time. This is a magical time we call the 80s. Some of you here weren't around. All my references are 80s references. But at the time, people were really super fixated. Like America had a deep desire for fiber. Like I don't know what happened. Like 88, 89-ish. Like all of a sudden, everybody needed fiber. Like Metamucil commercials. Yeah, Metamucil commercials were big. There was a cereal called Muslix. Like everything was talking about fiber. Yeah, and
Metamucil's funny because it's one of those things where I feel like, I guess brand awareness matters. Like when you need it, you go into the store and you don't want to mess around with low quality.
Right.
But it's just one of those things where you see an advertisement for it and you're like, how big could this budget possibly be?
So
then they show up at the Super Bowl and you're like, I guess this is a bigger problem than I thought.
Right.
The teeth gap,
right.
And then it just finishes with close the teeth gap.
It does not. There's no such thing, Jonathan. Stop saying that. You're confusing the kids. Yeah. So the name of this cereal was Colon Blow.
Amazing.
And it had one of those TV, Good Morning breakfast jingles. It was like Colon Blow and you in the morning. Which was amazing, right? so funny. It was like Folgers-esque, right? Like the Folgers commercial. Great.
When you're feeling a little bit stuffed up, and you just want to be able to go outside, but you can't just yet, 'cause you're worried. You might be a little bit too far away from a toilet. Colon blow.
Amber and
Colon
I are
blow
just
in the morning.
Colon Blow in the morning.
going to disappear.
Brought to you by Poopies. Anybody who wants
Finish.
Poopies on Facebook, make sure you send them a friend request. Get your 10% off Colon Blow in the mornings.
It finishes with the deep middle-aged black guy voice from all the malt liquor commercials.
Always.
Colon Blow. So we've got a topic today. Keto, what's going on with you? What's going on? You're the only one in Canada now. Jonathan,
Yes.
he's not coming back.
Right.
Yeah. So what's going on? What's the weather like in the bustling metropolis of Barrie, Ontario
Very
today?
cold.
It's
It is
cold. All
and
right.
miserable, and I hate it. Take me
Good.
away.
Good talk. Good talk, Carol.
No, I'm not gonna let you move on because now that you mentioned Saturday Night Live and their skits, I remember the one that they had. It was Alec Baldwin, and it was for his thing. It was like meatballs, but they were called Schmitty balls. Do you remember Schmitty balls?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
They were.
and it was so I love it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
inappropriate.
It's
You're gonna
it's
love my
probably
Schmitty balls.
actually they were Sweaty.
Schmitty balls.
His name was Pete Sweaty.
Sweaty.
And his recipe was for his family's Amber's Amber's already shaking her head no.
You are welcome, listeners of this podcast. Look it up.
Take eye contact with
Schmitty
her
balls.
camera. She's trying her best to disassociate herself from what's about to happen. It was a holiday episode. It was a Christmas episode. It was like an NPR radio show. The two ladies that were hosting it. One of them was Molly Shanlin. I can't remember the other, Anna Gatsnyer, and Molly Shanlin and Alec Baldwin.
Great
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because I'm a Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live was
It's
born
like-
the same year I was. So
Your encyclopedia for D-celebrity white women.
right.
Very impressive right now.
Molly Shannon
Off
was
the charts.
legendary.
Oh man! I actually have a board game for that. It's Dancing with the Stars guest and Love Boat guest stars. It's got all of the D-list celebrity Caucasian women that have never existed in the world. But they said we got a friend on the podcast on the show today. It's Pete Sweaty. He's got an amazing recipe he's going to share with us. He's got these meatballs, and they are delicious. And a guest says, "Wow, these balls are really succulent, Pete." And Molly Chandler says, "They're a bit heavy on the salt for me. They're a bit too salty."
From what I understand, that skit was actually largely improv too. Like if you go back and watch it, you can see them crack. It's rare, but you can see them laughing and holding back laughs.
Yes,
it's pretty rare in Saturday Night Live.
Baldwin
it was largely improv.
He was ad-libbing through this whole thing, and
Amazing.
he's so composed in his delivery. He's like,
great.
people come from miles around for my sweaty balls.
Poopies. For those of you who are having trouble with your children, make sure you get on Poopies on Facebook.com. Thank you again to our sponsors for today's episode, Poopies. Now on to today's topic. What is today's topic again? I remember seeing it and not quite understanding what it meant.
Well, Jonathan, first of all,
Amber is so
Amber wants to legitimately murder each and every one of us right now. She is so done with our crop today. Like, done.
it's so off the rails today. But we got some valuable content for you. So we read there was a Facebook message in our group, and this isn't the complete context of what we're talking about today. But
so Amber, why don't you tell us what we're talking about today? Then?
That's right.
If you're so good at this, why don't you tell us, Amber? Jeez. Woman thinks she runs the show.
Right. Like you're the producer or something. I can't hear you. I can't hear Amber. I can only see her miming.
She doesn't even know how to use a mic.
Can you hear me?
It's kinda. You're
Quiet.
like.
No, it's super far
Yeah,
away.
we're good at
If you
talking
tell
about
us the
stuff.
topic, we will get it done.
Can you text me? Text me the topic.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me. I'm gonna help you out.
Can you write it in a
I know what
sign
the topic
and
is, by
hold
the
it
way.
up to the
I
screen?
know exactly what it is.
Okay,
Right.
charade.
Now Amber's
Oh,
going.
sure.
She's quit the
How
show.
many
Words, Amber.
Oh, nice.
Lessons learned. Oh, amazing.
Oh, she's using her whiteboard. Look at
Yeah,
that.
That is an
Remember that
an
whiteboard that we were talking
intricate
about
top
last
that she's
episode,
wearing.
guys,
Though
with,
I feel
all the
like I
beautiful
would.
colors and
I
marks
feel
and
like the
everything?
amount of straps and the contraption there is
There's a
right.
high-
Yeah, you do get tangled in those. It does happen.
So-
It's like you put it like where the arm goes.
Jesus,
and then
from
you get
past
confused.
lunches.
What you can learn post launch.
Makes sense.
Oh, from from past
in
launches.
bright
She
green.
writes like a
Like,
doctor.
I feel
that
like green
totally
was
looks
not
like a
the right
doctor's
choice
note,
of color
so
for
I
something
cannot
that you're gonna
explain.
show us, Amber. So okay,
like
so what is it? What can you learn from past launches? Okay, so I don't quite understand what that means.
Yay, we got it.
From our
So-
past launches. How many launches
can
have
learn
all
from
of us
past
done and have
launches?
learned from mistakes that we've made or whatever? Or
Yeah,
the
like this.
Facebook thing. If that makes you happier, do you? I don't know. I give up.
can't remember. All right,
You guys are literally listening to a show where we work. The topic of our show today is how to work out the topic of a show. So yeah, you guys enjoy this. We've all had launches. We've launched. When we say launch, we mean launching our programs, right?
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And there has been commentary in the in our Facebook groups about the challenges of this business in general, because it has challenges, and sometimes it's helpful to the listeners out there and the Online Trainer Academy students and the Online Trainer Academy graduates to get a good understanding that we've had our own hurdles to overcome, that we've made errors. Like we didn't start in this business just knowing everything. Like we messed a lot of it up. As I would submit to you, the more knowledgeable the person is that you talk to, invariably the more that they screwed up along the way. That's where the knowledge comes from. So we just want to share with you guys some of the things that we've learned, in terms of our launches. Maybe some errors that we made, some mistakes, some things that we realized we'll never repeat again.
Can I
anything
say the
free.
first one? Can I say the first one that comes to mind?
I want you to say the first one, Jonathan.
Is falling prey to overzealous marketing that is deceitful. The amount of people that will propose that you straight up bullshit in your launches. Ending soon. You will never be able to get this later if you don't buy today. But next week you're gonna make me another promotion for it. There's just whatever you do, lead with honesty and transparency. Like over the long term, that's always going to be a good choice. Like put it this way, you might, if you are deceitful, I think I pronounced that word wrong the first time. Thanks for not calling me out on that, guys. If you are, that's the problem with reading a lot of books and not talking to a lot of other humans, is I know a lot of words, but I don't actually know how a lot of words are pronounced. It's yeah, right.
Yeah, try that in your
I can't
second
even
language,
imagine
man. It's
I can't
tough.
even imagine that. So the thing is, if you are deceitful in any of your marketing appeals or any of your statements or whatever it is, you might it might kind of work right at the start, but long term, the thing about lying is that once you start to lie, it starts to spin out of control very, very quickly, and then you have to lie to cover up your lies, and then lie again to cover up those lies, and all of a sudden, your entire business is just a lie. And that is a very easy trap to get into, and a whole bunch of small little decisions could spiral out very, very quickly. So you're never going to fall into that trap if you're always honest. You're always going to end up with a business that you're more proud of if you're honest. And it actually forces you to be better, because a lot of the spammy quick win tactical stuff is actually really dishonest stuff. It might not necessarily be wrong, but it's like towing the line. And what leading with honesty and transparency does is it forces you to become a much better storyteller and communicator, because you're not resorting to basically little tricks, which in the long run is going to make you way, way better. So I think, I mean, that's very superficial. I understand you guys want to get into more tactical stuff. I don't understand that. I'm just assuming that. But I think probably more tactical stuff is useful for the people listening, but I wanted to lead with that because I feel like it's a really good idea whenever you go into any of the stuff, particularly marketing, to have a few guiding principles. And I feel like one of those guiding principles has to be, am I being 100% honest and transparent? Like, mostly honest is not good enough. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves.
I have something to say. I don't have my cards. Jeff took my cards of request to speak and everything. So
Well, that's
I
it.
feel
You don't get to talk
unprepared.
today, then.
Yeah, I don't get a
Yeah,
voice
you don't.
today.
No cards, no commentary.
Do you
That's
remember?
that's
Do you
the
remember
podcast
Carolina
rule.
when he said to you, "He's like, okay, honey, simmer down." Do you remember that?
File that under things that will never happen because
I
that would never work
cannot
out for him.
imagine how painful it would be, physically and emotionally, to whoever it is that ever says anything like that to you.
It has not happened yet.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my gosh.
All right. So my addition to kind of like this topic is twofold. So one mistake that you don't want to make in your process of launching is stopping yourself from really spreading the word of the fact that you have something to offer. Like a lot of the times
Yes.
self-doubt kind of like comes into play and we don't want to feel like we're selling too much. And but again, if you're
Hmm.
basing everything off of honesty, transparency, you're being legitimate in what you're doing, you have nothing to fear, and you should feel very proud about putting forward the fact that you have this product or service to sell. Because what happens a lot of times is that, okay, so you finish your launch, you already have the people that enrolled or whatever. Invariably a few days after, somebody's gonna be like, oh, you just finished a launch. Oh, I wanted to sign up and I didn't realize. And that's all, just because you didn't convey the message strongly enough because you were afraid of pushing too hard. Don't be afraid of pushing too hard, because at the end of the day, um, like you're offering a service that is for the benefit of the people who need it, right? And those people cannot receive that benefit if you stay quiet or if you fall short on your messaging. So put it out there, use different tactics, different strategies, see what feels genuine to you, but do it. Like, put it out there. And kind of like the alter side of this also is that in your pricing, for myself, I find if I have any doubt about my pricing, it's so difficult to find people to sign up. Like, if I'm whatever it is that I'm going to charge, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that I'm charging, I need to feel super confident that my clients are getting, like, it's so worth it for every single person in the world to pay me this amount of money, because then that gives me that freedom to really talk about it and to really bring the people in. If you're placing a price tag, but you yourself, you're not sold on your ability, your capability, your delivery, your service, your setup. Like, you're all like, well, I'm charging, 150 for a month. Is that too much? I don't know. It's already not gonna translate well. You first of all have to sell yourself on the value of your service and on the value and the price tag that you're putting on your service. And then it's so much easier for people to just absorb that energy from you and understand the value, because you're conveying the value, because you are so sold on your own value.
That's it. That's great. I mean, that makes perfect sense. A lot of when when you have issues in your launch and your enrollment, um, they it's like an open wound through the entire program when you work with the client. Like, it just it festers, and then it starts to smell, and then invariably you lose the leg.
Yeah.
The uh,
Gangrene.
the OTA doctors come in and they say, we're gonna have to, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, we're gonna have to take the leg. And you're like, oh my god, like, had you seen to this sooner, earlier in your process, we may have been able to perform surgery, but at this point we're just gonna have to take the whole leg. So sort of what I mean by that is, this is challenging because on one end, if you're creating a program, and especially if you're new to this business, kind of need some money, right? Like, that's always the challenge here. So you might take a client that maybe you kind of had a feeling that this was not going to be a good relationship, and man, let me tell you, the only thing the only thing worse than trying to distance yourself from a client is knowing that you took a client that you should never have taken in the first place. And I think we've all been there once or twice. Be forthcoming in your program launch, specifically in your enrollment process, specifically at the point where you're explaining to the client what needs to happen during the course of the process. I do almost everything through Facebook, and I've taken one or two clients as recent as 2020 who said, "Oh, I totally don't do Facebook," and I'm like, don't we can work around it, and we couldn't. Like,
Right.
no, we couldn't work around it. It just doesn't. It was extra stress for me for no reason. When you end up doing more than what you perceive you're being paid to do, it's easy to crack the door open to resentment. Either resentment for what you do, resentment for the client, which is unfair to them because you're the one that changed your whole process for their benefit just so you get a sale. It's just kind of a general no-no. But I do understand the financial. I've been there. With ramen noodles. I don't mean good ramen noodles. I mean Al Seven ramen noodles. And saltine crackers. Been there. Totally get it. But man, your life is a living hell.
What's the difference
the
between
entire-
high quality ramen noodles and low quality ramen noodles? Can you
Oh
can
man,
you tell me?
first of all, the lack of plastic.
Oh, okay.
High quality noodles actually digest, in a way they're supposed to. Low quality, the stuff that you get off the shelf is made. It's institutional food. It's made to last for a long time. It's not made for nutrition, as opposed to going out to a nice ramen place and getting fresh made ramen noodles that they cut there and boil. Like it's a totally different thing. It's like
Right.
it's like it's like the difference between steak and McDonald's hamburgers. It's a pretty wide gap between the two items. Now, the in-store ramen noodles, you can get a month's serving of sodium in one meal. That's a benefit. You're not gonna
Saves
you're
on
not
sodium
gonna be
costs.
You're short of
yeah.
sodium.
It's basically just salt
Right.
to preserve the noodles. But in any case, so when you're doing your launch, and this sort of piggybacks on what Jonathan said. Be as transparent as possible when talking about how your program is facilitated, um, because you're going to cause problems if you try to sort of conceal a few things because you know that the client may not jive with it.
Right.
Man, it's a big headache from that point on. Everything sucks after that, and Amber's gone again, and she's back. Um, so
And
that's
she's
sort of
gone.
my
And she's back.
initial,
And she's gone.
and she's
And
back.
she's back again, everybody.
Every time she
Ah!
comes back, there's another marker on the board.
That's right.
She's got another magic marker every time we come back. She's
Another
got another
another
card.
marker. She uses Lido and Lido colors, is what
Yeah.
she does.
Okay. I think Keto's got a point that she wants to make.
Yes.
She doesn't have her card, so I can't tell.
Before I forget, I want to add too. And this is also from personal experience. Like we've done this. I don't know about you guys. I know that I've done this. I know a lot of coaches have done this. It's a mistake to for the most part, it's a mistake to allow for a client to be like, oh, can I pay for like half of it right now, and then halfway in the program I'll give you the other half. Because here's what happens, like you may be doing it out of the goodness in your heart and believing your client, and maybe you've known them in your personal life for years, like, oh, they would never do me like that or whatever. And it's not that they're a bad person, but here's the thing. If in the course of the beginning of the program, they happen to fall behind in any shape or form, that's it. They're going to drop the program and ghost you
Mhm.
entirely, and just not because this is their way out. It's like, oh, well, it wasn't really working for me because I kind of fell off the wagon right in the first week. I'm not doing things perfectly, so I'm just going to disappear, and then I don't have to pay the other half. So it's a mistake in my experience. I don't think it has ever turned out in a
No.
satisfactory way for me doing that. Like the two or three times I have tried, out of again trying to be like a kind person and open the opportunity or whatever, it just doesn't work. It's not. I don't know why, and it's not because
I can tell you why.
Psychology. Yeah, tell me, please, because I'm interested in
I
this.
can tell you why. The episode that went live today was the one on the boring legal stuff, and in that episode, I talked about how, like, if you're gonna be in this business, you have to act like you're in business. Professional people that offer professional services are treated like professionals if they act like professionals.
Right.
By waffling on your prices, like go into a store and try to negotiate and say, oh, I'm going to buy this bar of soap, I'm going to buy this dishwasher, but I don't want to pay you half until a few months from now. They're not going to sell it to you.
Right.
You will get treated like a professional if you approach your business like a professional.
Right.
That's it. That's literally it. And that can be really, really hard to do. Particularly if you're really needing clients and you finally get somebody who says that they're going to train with you and pay you, but only if whatever. And it is really important to say, to put your foot down and to say, no, this is how my packages work. This is how my training work. Here's why. If you are wanting to get started today, here's the commitment to get started. If not, I totally understand. And, you know, I'd love to work with you at some point in the future when this works better for you. Like that's it. Right. But I do, I mean, I'm happy to talk about this a little bit more, but I do want to add some value here, Ronald, if that's okay.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, yes, that's fine, Jonathan. Add all the value that you can, my friend.
Karen, is that okay?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Andrea, is that okay with you? Okay. So,
Amber tapped out of this episode a long time ago. she's on Facebook now. She's scrolling the internet. She's just like Marshawn Lynch from the NFL. You won't get that reference. But NFL player, and he had to go to the Super Bowl stuff. He hates the media. And they started asking him a question like, well, Marshawn, what do you think about the Super Bowl? What do you? I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Oh, that was
his answer to
every interview.
That was amazing.
Great,
That was amazing.
Every single thing, because he did show up
question.
previously and he got fined, and so every single
got fined.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Just here so I won't get fined.
Yep.
That's Amber right now. She's just here so she won't get.
That's right.
So she won't get fined. Jonathan, I thought you were going to add some value. What are you
Let
waiting
me add
on?
some value.
Get it together. Jesus.
The most important aspect of a launch is excitement, is energy. You will be successful in your launch if people that are participating in your launch get wrapped up in the euphoria of the event. This is why you need to organize it and put your foot on the gas and not let up. Even if things aren't going that great at the beginning, right? You still need to keep your foot on the gas because it's the energy that matters. It's the excitement that matters. It's everybody wants to go to an exciting party. Case in point, this week where I live in Mexico was the busiest week of the year. It is insane. The amount of people, the amount of disease, everything that's being brought into this town is crazy.
Yep.
And yet, the people who I'm like living like around and the people who we know are like, oh, we're just going to drive into town to see what's going on. Right? It's like, it's exciting to be at something that a lot of other people are at, even though you know it's bad for you and you know that you're going to be experiencing poopies for the next couple days afterwards. And so you gotta build that excitement around what you do. You need to like use exclamation marks. I hate to say this, but use multiple punctuations like one after another. Like
what?
2 exclamation marks. It pains me in my chest to say that. As somebody who's written 11 books, it pains me to say that you need to use like multiple exclamation marks. But do whatever you can to celebrate what's happening, to get people excited. Carolina does a great job. Guys, there's something incredible coming next week. Oh my God, I can't wait to tell you. Like, this is going to be amazing. because like it is in your corner of the world, in your little like corner of the internet, like it is really exciting, and people want to be a part of something really exciting, and people don't want to see
Right.
something really exciting end, which is why when you build in a little bit of a scarcity, whether it's price scarcity, the price is going up, whether it's bonus scarcity, there's a bonus that's going to be going away, whether it's actually
Right.
availability scarcity, this thing is not going to be available after a period of time. Whatever ends your launch, whichever aspect of scarcity that you use to end your launch, when that goes away, it's also the end of the energy. And so you
Right.
need to be able to communicate that. And the better you do that, the better your launch is going to go. The more people are going to get wrapped up on it, the more people don't want to miss out on it. And so whatever you can do, go live. Like literally, I mean, have a confetti gun. Like it's dumb as shit. But
Right.
like have balloons in your video behind you because you're celebrating. Get excited. Have some to get excited, right? It's completely fabricated, and it could be any time. It could be with some sort of an event or a date on the calculator, or it could just not be, right? But there's got to be something like that with a launch, because the worst thing that can possibly happen over the course of a launch is apathy. Is just that kind of ho-hum. It doesn't matter. You want people to either say, I know for sure this isn't for me, God, you're annoying. Or
Right.
you want people to say, holy crap, this sounds amazing. I'm so excited. I'm not quite sure that it's right for me yet, and I'm going to think about it, but I know I don't have much time to think about it. And oh my God, oh my God, oh my, like that's like you need one of those two things,
Yes.
right? And
Right.
you actually will get both. And that's good, because anything in the middle is bad. Apathy is the death of the business,
For me,
right?
I
We've seen
know.
this. Let me just, sorry, like Carolina, for interrupting you. Let me just finish my thought really quick, and then I have nothing else to say, and you guys can keep talking. There are, no matter what side of the coin you're on in the COVID masking debate, that's not for us to discuss here. There are very loud proponents on both sides. And particularly in the anti-masking debate, in the COVID is a scam, the pandemic, all of that kind of stuff, right? Doesn't matter what you think. The marketing, though, is really, really interesting, because there are a number of examples of businesses that have gone out of their way to take the side of this whole COVID thing as a scam and made a tremendous amount of money with it on products that are completely irrelevant to everything. Literally, I saw a Facebook ad for quote unquote Revolution coffee. They have the Patriot blend. I'm not making this shit up. They have the Patriot blend. They have the
I love
unmasked
it.
blend.
Wow.
Okay? Their Facebook ad has thousands of shares, has hundreds of comments of people being like, oh my God, I can't wait to buy a bag of this. Like, it is, the point that I'm making here is when you, and then other people obviously are like, you're evil, but the reality of it is, they are purposefully, and my guess, by the way, I have no idea who's running this, but my guess is this is a marketing agency and people who straight up don't give a shit about COVID in either which way,
Right.
Right.
right?
Either
They
I
way.
just
think.
understand the marketability of being divisive.
Yes, because it's identity. You're
Yep.
playing to a large group of people's identity, core identity, right? They're highly identified with being on this polar side of an issue, and so
So
you
they're
play
going to
to
buy
that.
coffee, right? It's the dumbest thing ever. It's the most, like if you think fitness is commoditized, like coffee is commoditized, man. I mean, you can, like, there's nothing differentiating it. And yet this one company is selling thousands and thousands and thousands bags of overpriced coffee because they're willing to make up a website and a brand to play into your divisiveness. So if that doesn't illustrate the marketability of basically just saying, like, some people are going to love this, some people might not, right? But anything in the middle, you're dead in the water.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
talk
no
amongst
different
yourselves.
from, well, yeah, Yeah, but well, it's no different from keto, whatever, right? Keto this, keto
Right.
that, keto bread, keto what? Like just, but it's an identity, right? Like if I am now a person who does the keto diet and I'm a keto woman or whatever, I identify strongly, then that's part of the marketing that would appeal to me. I'm not, and it doesn't, but okay. And what I wanted to add to Jonathan's comment before about being excited for me in a launch, I know that I'm doing a good job in conveying excitement when I have people who for the time being are not able or it's not a right fit for them to go through my program, but they are sharing about it. Like they're so
Hmm.
excited that even though they're not going to use it, they're talking about it and they're inviting their friends and they want their friends to see and to know and to give them a heads up. Like that's a good step of like that's my barometer, I guess, for knowing where I'm doing on the excitement scale. Like do I have people without an investment uh, drumming up excitement for me? You should, I should. So that's what I strive for.
Can I leave, sort of one final point about launch mistakes or errors that
Hmm.
in program? Don't disappear until it's a launch point and then you show up all over the internet again. Like that's a really strategy. You're basically that uncle that shows up every time he needs money, right? Don't be that person, right? 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 Like, and if you are gonna fake it, at least give yourself a week before the launch or something like
Yes.
your social media, your contact, however you communicate with people. If it's email marketing, if it's text marketing, I don't care. Like make sure that the only time that your texts go out or your emails go out or the only time you're on social media isn't specifically when you're trying to launch a program. It's so blatantly obvious
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
all
Don't
of us, and it
don't go
feels
into a
spammy.
hole and build something and then come out of your cave 4 months later and be like, here it is, the best thing you've ever seen. Buy it right now because
And we're like, "Who? I'm sorry, who are you?" Like,
right.
it's just not a good way
You also
to
were not
launch a
getting
program.
well, you also were not getting feedback all the way along.
Right.
The odds that you actually know what people want
Zero. I'm
is
saying
very,
zero.
very low. And
I
the
don't.
only way to really build something that people want is to build something. Well, I mean, there's a lot of product innovation research strategies that you can go into, but the truth of the matter is to build something that is in no way, shape, or form a final product, and take
Right.
in feedback and iterate on it. That's
Right.
that is
Right.
legitimately the only way.
The
I
only
do.
way.
I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years and we still do multiple beta groups for every product we come out with. We're going into the fourth cohort for online trainer coaching or fitness coaching service, and we're still in beta,
Right.
Yeah.
right? You just don't know. You straight up don't know. So don't spend all of your time and money in a cave building
Please don't.
something
Hmm.
without getting
I,
any feedback and then expecting it to be the right thing that people need, expecting
it's
people to care
impossible.
about it, because it's gonna fall flat. Like
Impossible.
and it's not because you're not good at what you do, it's because it is so hard, edging on impossible
It
to hit
really
it
is. I
like that.
just as we close the show, I just had this conversation with the student yesterday. He's trying to figure out all these possible things that might happen, and I was like, dude, like you're not in your mind. You're not going to be able to imagine every contingency,
Hmm.
and whatever you imagine is going to be absolutely wrong. Your best bet. He was like, I don't know if I should just put it out there the way it is, or wait until I perfect it. I said, middle. There's a middle ground here.
Yeah.
You ask for 3 volunteers, maybe 2, maybe 1. Hey guys, I'm building something I think's really cool. I'd like to have some volunteers to help me build this. I love to get some feedback. I'm not
Hmm.
going to charge you anything for it. It'll be fun. It'll be like
Or
an
I'm going to charge you,
experiment.
or I'm going to charge you a discounted price.
A discounted price. Either one. Either one. Uh, you know, but in any case, doing it when humans are involved in it is really the best way to learn what's going on.
Yeah.
You're just going to build something that nobody wants repeatedly. That's what you're going to do.
Hmm.
You're going to keep making stuff that nobody wants. And everybody wants poopies. What's that rumbling in my tummy? Poopies.
Oh, we have a jingle now. God.
All right, we got it. We got to go though.
Yes, we do.
Sitting
Please.
on the toilet and it's not too funny. It's poopies. If I got pain in my tummy today, the only thing I know to tell you and say is get yourself some delicious poopies.
Please save
You're
me.
welcome.
Take me
You're
away.
welcome, world. Shout out to you, Greece, holding it down. The Online Trainer Academy. Set yourself apart, boost your credentials, and gain a huge competitive advantage in the online health and fitness market. OnlineTrainer.com/OTA. We'll see you there. Podcast show notes can be found at OnlineTrainer.com/podcast. This has been an Amber Reynolds production.
Whatever
Jingle.
happened is her fault.
Make sure no matter what, Amber Reynolds gets full solo credit,
credit.
for this
Full
production.
credit for today.
Did that episode just the way you drew it up, Amber. Thank you. Did we follow the script right? Or I think the script said to say sweaty balls one more time. There you go, Amber. Jesus, Peter, your balls are delicious. The other lady was like, they're so tender. Oh man, it's comedy gold. Comedy gold. I've never seen anything better on that show. I swear, my hand to the fire. I've never seen any deadpan comedic routine ever delivered better than that. It was just incredibly appropriate. I'm logging off. I think I've uploaded. Have I uploaded? Am I uploaded?
This is the Online Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.